I want to explain in this video something that's caused me to get seriously hurt, even caused me to lose my insurance and benefits. And Rochester is complacent in doing this, and they're playing with the old man. That makes me so sad and depressed that people are coming into this house fucking with this old man. But I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. So basically, my roommate David is 84. He has a big problem. He answers questions that he fucking doesn't even understand. And I'll give you an example. The landlord came in during the discovery, and they wanted to see if they could play this man for a fool. There is a good trick that they wanted to see if they could pull. Now, Rochester has pulled this bullshit trick on the both of us many times, and I want to make this trick clear in a couple of examples. The first example was during the discovery. The landlord, Robert DiBerto, and some girl, well, I don't know who it is, he lied to us and said it was his attorney, but it's not apparently. They asked David questions like, do you have a prosthetic leg? Now, David has put down that he has had a big chunk of cancer removed from the side of his leg. It's a tissue. Part of the muscle was removed. It's pretty serious surgery, and it does affect him. But they're using words like prosthetics or vascular prosthetics or words that they know David doesn't understand, but I do. When I tried to help David and go, a prosthetic, you be quiet. And so at that point, David answers the question. Not only that, they're telling him to stand up, and he's shaking. So David stands up, he's shaking. They say they want to see his leg. Like, these are the landlord. They have no right to ask to see David's body parts. But on top of this, David has made it clear he doesn't understand English whatsoever. But he still answers the fucking questions wrong. So David said he has a prosthetic, even though he doesn't, because he didn't understand the question. Now, this is not that big a deal normally, unless the state is hurting another man based upon these senile answers. And that's exactly what they do. There is a man named Zachary Newell. I'll give you an example of this. David was trying to report abuse against Robert DiBerto and Jeremy Munger. This abuse is caught on camera in 2019. The neighbors got involved because they were tired of seeing an old man get abused so often. I'm tired of seeing an old man get abused all often. I'm tired of Rochester abusing me as well. But this is what they do to try to avoid any responsibility. The police will get a call in Rochester from other towns like Concord to investigate. The police arrived today on 8/8 at 4 p.m. When the police came in, they started asking questions that were purposely designed to get a false answer. Like, for instance, they asked David if he's getting abused. David said yes. Well, that's what the reports were of. I told David he needs to name names, but instead the questions that they were asking him do not give him a chance to give a name. Instead, they're yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, but David is not understanding half of the questions. Well, then there's another question, and they're going a little quick. Did it happen inside? Yes. Did it happen outside? Yes. That's not true. It happened outside, clearly on video, and your roommate got assaulted inside. Zachary Newell is very clearly getting kicked in his kidneys and almost killed. Zachary Newell was urinating black. He's been in the hospital for 3 years off and on. He's having GI issues. The landlord throws him to the ground while Zachary is trying to pay rent because the landlord is refusing the rent. So Zachary grabs the piece of paper, the list of damages, grabs the rent money, walks up to the landlord with the camera pointed and says, "This is from Zachary Newell and David Ganji." The piece of paper is there, the money is there, it's all there. But before we get a chance to do anything further, the landlord realizes, if I refuse this on camera, then I can't evict. So let's just beat him and kill him and make sure Zachary can't move around. Because if we destroy his kidneys and GI some more, he won't be able to walk and he'll be having seizures. And then how is he supposed to show up for court? He can't. I'll just fuck up his disabilities, that's all. So on camera, he grabs me, throws me to the ground, starts kicking me in the kidneys, starts punching me in the GI on purpose, and leaves. Then, the police officers decide to only report this as an assault, even though I could have died, and there's hate speech involved. So what does Rochester do when we try to report this now? They ask questions like, are you getting abused inside? Is this going on? Blah, blah, blah. What they're doing is they're trying to get a senile old man to make a false report. They already know what's going on. David is happy to have me help him. I got videos, pictures for the police. We're being harassed, driven off roads by these people. These people are showing up for court, making false complaints they're not even involved in. And then Rochester isn't complacent to turn it around on the victims. David, were you reporting abuse of me, them? Do you want me to go to jail? Is it something I'm doing? Or would it be more useful to tell them about what happened on the hill? I mean, what do you think is going on? Do you think that the Rochester is helping us?
I don't know. I can't say.
What have they done so
I
far?
know.
Have they helped you with the landlord's abuse?
No.
Okay, well, that's the type of help they're supposed to. Did they fill out paperwork today with you?
No.
Did they fill out paperwork yesterday with you?
Whatever.
I did it all, and I can't take any more. Okay, so David, the abuse, when they came in, did they ask you about the landlord at all?
No.
Did they ask you about Jeremy Munger at all?
Yeah.
You mentioned Jason. You said Jason or Jeremy. I had to mention the name. Well, do you think the report has your roommate as the abuser, or do you think the report has Jeremy and the landlord as your abuser? What do you think the police officers on 8/8/24 at 4 p.m. put on their report? What were you really trying to report, and what do you think they put on their report?
I don't know what they put on their report.
Well, do you think that it's going to be against your roommate or against the right people? Because it shouldn't be against your roommate, right?
No.
Did your roommate pull you on that hill and tell you to pick up cans?
No.
Okay. Did your roommate kick himself in the kidneys on the ground in camera? I kicked myself on the ground?
No.
Why
See,
is it so? Explain.
You're not coming out with the words right.
I said, did I kick myself? Meaning because it's on the footage. But you didn't understand what I was saying, did you?
No.
Okay, that is the type of questions that Rochester has been tricking you with, David. That's why the landlord asked you if you had a prosthetic leg to see if he could trick you. And you said, yes, you do have a prosthetic leg, even though you don't. The courts did another one that's going to screw you, David. That is when the landlord filed that you didn't try to pay your rent, even though it's very clear we're trying to pay our rent as we get abused. I mean, you can see it right on the video that was brought to the Rochester PD. The Rochester PD got a very clear video of me getting abused really bad by my landlord after 6 years of it. So it finally caught on camera. That's why I had installed the Ring camera, because of all the abuse. I mean, torches getting put to our heads, kicks, people trying to run us over with our car. And now that I'm in the hospital with kidney damage, the landlord wants to kick me in the kidneys, very clearly. And we got hospital records proving that I just got out of the hospital, and nobody can force him. And the landlord only comes to our property to collect rent. But he's claiming that we refuse to pay him rent, and you're just out to get him. That you're trying to do this because you're out to get him because you don't like him evicting you. And do you know what you said in the clerk's office? The clerk asked you if you were out to get him, and you said yes. But what you meant to say, what you were thinking of, is you filed this paperwork because he's trying to do these things to you, right?
Yeah.
That's what you meant. You meant you're filing with the courts. You wanted to go to the Supreme Court because you had a mistrial and you don't like what he's doing to you and you want justice. But they asked you, are you trying to get back at him for an eviction? And you answered yes without understanding what the question was. You thought, hey, am I filing this to get justice because of my rights? When really, Rochester has done everything in their power to confuse you, David. Do you need help with your mind? Are you having trouble answering these questions?
Yeah.
You are having a lot of trouble making sense of these questions, aren't you?
Yeah.
Do you think you're okay to stand trial?
No.
Do you think you're okay to be cross-examined?
No.
Do you think you're okay to write your own paperwork?
No.
Have you been okay to write paperwork so far? No, you haven't got shit. You haven't even wrote your list over there. You're in 3 months. No way. Has Rochester taken your reports like on 884, or does it look like they're changing reports to go after your roommate like before? Like, was there ever a time where your roommate got investigated for elderly abuse when you were reporting elderly abuse of another kind? Did that ever happen? Yes, it did. I got the letter, you got the letter. It definitely did. But did you ever get an investigation done against anybody that you found hurt you?
I don't know.
Well, Jeremy, you did a little bit.
Oh, yeah,
but then
Jeremy.
you never showed up. And then nobody ever helped you in Rochester. And I'm going to say right now, I'm pretty sure Rochester's going to come after me for helping this old man. I can't take any more, but they want to cut off my funding. So what they're going to do is they're going to take this report. They're going to write it up on Friday. They're going to mail it to me on Monday. They're going to say I'm abusive. Then they're going to cut off my insurance. They're going to cut off all help I get. I'm going to have to stop my epilepsy medication. I'm going to shake and have seizures. They're going to cut off our power. They're going to make everything difficult. David is using me constantly to pay his bills, talk to the electric company, talk to everybody. Without me, David can't even hold a fucking conversation with the electric company. So it's very obvious that he has no idea what's going on. But yet, they ask him yes or no questions specifically designed to push a false narrative, and it's getting me hurt. This has happened before, too. Just look at the records. I was investigated before. Meanwhile, we both got camera footage of abuse. There's very clear shit going on. I even got people showing up at my work. But see, when we make reports, they go nowhere, or they're completely changed, or they try to get statements for David that don't make sense. David needs somebody who can make sense of what's going on. We need to be able to put a camera on this man. I'm willing to wear a camera, but I live in New Hampshire. So you know what happens if I wear a camera so that we all know the truth? I go to jail. David needs help, and it can't keep on using me. Rochester thinks it can use me to do all this. Look at all this. It's stressing me out. I'm putting my hand on my chest because my heart's beating out of control, and I know they're about to do nothing. I did nothing. All I did was help David file some paperwork about the landlord. They're going to change the landlord's name and put mine on it. Even though, David, do you think that I should be in trouble? I should go to jail?
No.
I'm abusing you? I'm hitting you? Have you ever been bloodied up or anything like that?
No.
But have I ever been bloodied up because of the landlord?
Yes.
Have you ever been feeling kind of bad about seeing the landlord act crazy?
All the time.
What type of crazy are you talking about?
Yells, screams, threatens. That's all I can say. I just don't like
Did you ever see
him.
him put his hands on me? Or have you ever seen a video of him putting his hands on me?
Yeah.
What would that look like?
Like he's crazy. He goes and grabs you, pulls you out, and then...
Does that make you feel scared or
Oh,
worried?
you better believe it,
Does
because
it
I
make
thought
it
he
harder?
was coming up to get me next.
Is it harder for you to speak when this stuff goes on?
Yeah, because...
If they sit him back of you in court like Jeremy Munger, would that bother you?
Yeah.
Would it make you nervous? It would make me nervous. You were shaking in your boots in court, so I know. I'm just trying to get... I know you want to be a man and that you're... In David's generation, you don't also admit to being scared. He was dead scared of the landlord after he beat me in the kidneys. But David is really afraid to admit it. Not only that, he is very hard to deal with. He needs somebody to translate what's going on, or he doesn't give the right answers. He has given false answers like he has a prosthetic leg before. David does not have a prosthetic leg. He has a leg that had a little